Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rise. I'm back here at Fitzgerald Hyundai in Clearwater, Florida, and guess what? We have another new, totally redesigned Hyundai Elantra. This is a 2020 Elantra. This particular one is the limited trim, but before we dive into the 7th generation of this compact car, let's talk about what's going on here. Hyundai, this brand that's really bringing it big to the auto industry, not only with their SUVs, but also with their sedans. They're not giving up on their sedans, especially their compact sedan. Now, Hyundai will admit they did screw up a little bit on the refresh design that they did to the Elantra. So for 2021, they wanted to bring it big and they wanted it to be in a bigger way to go up against the likes of the Honda Civic, the mighty Toyota Corolla, the Mazda 3, and even across the street, we're talking about the Kia Forte. One thing is for certain, if you're looking for a new compact car and you want some great technology, you want a warranty that's really second to none, and some styling that's going to separate you from the rest of the pack, this might be the ultimate compact car known as the Elantra Limited. Let's go ahead and check out and see what it's all about. Right off the bat, you'll see the total redesign, very angular, lots of sharp angles, but I think when you look at the big picture, it all kind of blends together nicely. Now, starting up at the front of the business, you'll see our new headlight design, LED daytime running lamps, which I have on right now. Everything else is blacked out on the interior. The thing that's a little different compared to the bigger brother, which is the Sonata, you don't have the daytime running lamps going into any trim. They're actually two separate layers, and they end right as the housing is going into the fender. Now, as we work our way down, you do have a triangular vent, which remember, on the previous generation, when they did the refresh in 2019, they brought some triangle shapes. I do like what's going on here. It's a side air curtain. It's going to clean up the air and channel it down the side of the vehicle. Now, we did bring to you an SEL trim. That's right in the sweet spot of the trim range. This being a limited, instead of flat black, we have this dark chrome finish. I really love the way it accents all of the lines very nicely, especially with the blue. And the way the headlight design is shaped looks really great. You can see how that front lip extends off of the front fascia, the angle cuts, and then as we come across the new grille, now you're probably saying to yourself, Joe, this almost looks like a mid-sized car. And I would agree with you. The new 2021 Elantra has grown in width. It's also grown in length. So what that means is you're going to get physically a bigger car, but also more interior space. Now, here's your new grille layout. I do like the way on the limited trim you are getting that dark chrome finish. Really fits well with the identity of this new Elantra. All the nice angular shapes, full functional, and then even this lower section is functional as well with a flat black trim that runs along the bottom of the middle section. Now, when we get up onto the hood, massive Hyundai logo. It's almost like I want to take this and wear it around my neck, on my necklace. You do have these really nice body lines that start on the front fascia and V formation for victory, V's for victory, going all the way towards the windscreen. I also call it the windshield, but very, very nicely done with how they did the edges. It gives it a very unique look without being too over the top. The lines on the corners go right into the A-pillars, and as we come around the bend, let's talk about wheel and tire setup. So here is our wheel and tire on the Limited. Now, if you remember, SEL had a 15-inch wheel. This has a 17-inch wheel. So 17 inches in diameter, machined aluminum. You have the gloss black, really looking clean, 225 on the width, 45 series sidewall. And if you're also saying to yourself, well, Joe, this looks a lot like the Sonata, they did that on purpose, guys. They wanted to bring some of that great style into the smaller Elantra, but still keep its own unique identity, which I really like. Now, as we go down the fender, you can see the nice hard line actually starts all the way down on the corner of the front fascia, curves all the way around. We got color matched on your mirror caps. You do have a slim and trim LED turn signal, standard size sunroof, which is nice. And then notice the body line. It starts on the fender and then goes all the way down the side to about right there on the passenger door. I'm not 100% sold on the flat black. I thought that the flat black would be the way to go up here and back behind the passenger door. I'm thinking that gloss black on the limited trim would have looked a little bit cleaner, but I do like the brushed aluminum as it comes towards the rear. Here's another area. I wish they would have just made this a quarter window. It's a little bit too much black plastic, and I am gonna zonk this area. But if you notice, they do put a little bit of a vortex generator in there to clean the air as it's going down the side of the vehicle. Like I said, that body line disappears, and then it's picked up top. Down below, you're just gonna get a subtle lower sill extension. Nothing crazy. I can't wait to get my hands on the Elantra N. It's not gonna be an N line. It's gonna be a true N that's gonna be coming to you here on Rady's Rides. I can't wait. Now, as we come towards the rear, you can see the rear quarter line coming into that rear pillar. And then notice how the trunk, look at how far it extends off the back to give that aerodynamic efficiency. Nice little kick up. You can see how they worked the LED lighting, and then it runs all the way across. We drop down, you're gonna get your Honda logo, your Hyundai logo there. Nice angle. Look at the angles. That's what I think really works on this car, all the great angles. Your limited trim, Elantra, they reworked the name. They really made it look 21st century. They even moved the trunk release button. It used to be up here. Now they put it cleanly right above that lighting that goes from one side to the other. We drop down, you're gonna get a little bit of that dark chrome finish. Interesting lower bumper area. Now, the good news is, it's not really meant to look like a fake exhaust, and I'm glad they weren't trying for that, but it does give it a nice, unique identity. The exhaust is actually tucked underneath. It would have been nice on the limited trim to have some kind of visible exhaust, but boy, oh boy, definitely some styling that's gonna make you stand out from the rest of the compact class. Let's go ahead, pop the hood, and see what's powering our 2021 Elantra. All right, guys, we do have the hood popped. I am gonna zonk that we have a prop ride on a limited trim. We should have hydraulic hood struts, but underneath that hood is gonna be one engine so far that we've seen on the new Elantra. Same engine as the SEL, so that is that 147 horsepower, 132 pound-feet of torque out of a 2-liter naturally aspirated inline 4. It is mated to a CVT. It is front-wheel drive. The car weighs around 2,800 pounds. MPGs is where you're gonna come out really on top. 31 in the city, 41 on the highway. 0 to 60, not the fastest, 8.8 seconds, but that's not what this vehicle is about. If you're craving a faster 0 to 60 and you want a compact car sedan to go up against, say, the Honda Civic Si, I think that Elantra N is gonna be the ticket. I can't wait. But why don't we go ahead, let's get to the inside of this Elantra Limited and see what you get at this trim level. All right, guys, we're inside the 2021 Elantra Limited. I know you're at that point, just like with the last Elantra review, and I'll leave that one at the end of this video if you haven't seen it yet. But I know you're saying to yourself, Joe, right now I am trying to track down a compact car, new compact car for me and my family. I'm noticing that some of these new models are bringing new technology and definitely more space. I'm liking what the Limited's bringing to the table so far. How much is it? MSRP, right about $26,000. Let's see what you get for your hard-earned money. To the door panel. Now you're gonna notice some denim treatment, this gray denim treatment. I'm actually kind of liking it. At first I was like, but I'm kind of liking it, especially now with the white contrast stitching. I do like the aluminum speaker cover up top. Nice little tasteful touch. The armrests are on the hard side. It's like this rubber material on the armrests, and that really isn't a great place for me to want to put my arm. But you do have the optional Bose sound system, smaller pocket size, maybe an Egg McMuffin and a bottle of OJ to wash it down, but there's that hard armrest that I'm definitely gonna zonk. Now when we get to the dash, knock knock, who's there? Semi-soft material, so it actually isn't hard as a rock. It's got a little soft push to it, which is nice. I like the texture. I'm also digging the silver trim here, especially around the AC vents. Everything flows towards our all-new infotainment system, which is great. This, in the Limited, you're getting the 10.25-inch screen, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. There we are at Fitzgerald. Nice size, and I'm really digging the way it's just all one piece. Sort of like some of those more expensive brands like Mercedes-Benz. I'm gonna throw it into reverse. You can see the backup camera, a little grainy, but you do have trajectory and you do have your sensors to give you a heads up when you're backing up in a tight parking situation. Put it back into park. You have your buttons real easy to get to, your volume knob, piece of cake, the start stop button, dual climate in your Limited trim, which is a nice welcome. Easy to get to those controls. Heated seats, no ventilated seats, but we're talking about $26,000 here. It's gonna be, I'm actually gonna put the car in drive to help Lori out here a little bit, but you have a 12 volt, a USB, and another USB. So you have two USBs, a 12 volt, and a nice area down here with wireless charging and a place for your Twinkies. So Hyundai knows you want to charge your phone and have a couple snacks easily, readily available. What's interesting on the new Elantra that I pointed out last time is this massive oh crap handle for your passenger. If you're holding on to this and you're the driver, I think there might be problems. But you have this divider, like that's your side, this is my side. This is that shifter that's for the CVT transmission. I do like the leather material up top, a little bit of silver. You do have different drive modes, which I'll show you when you come over to the business end. There's a button here, and then you have your electric parking brake, your auto hold, two deep cup holders. And what's nice is let's say you don't have a very deep bottle, like a tall bottle. You actually, see how that says switch? They're actually telling you to do something. Watch this, switch. Now it's not so deep anymore, which is a nice touch. So I spin it around, and it's deep again. Perfect. Key fob, nothing crazy, but very tasteful. I like the nice brushed aluminum. You have your remote start, which is great. You can sound a horn. You have the official Hyundai trumpet, which will sound when you push that button. Put that back in here. A little bit of gloss black. Semi-soft on the armrest. We open this up. You do have some felt lining, so you could put the Hope Diamond in there, and it won't get scratched. There's no connectivity, so just put the Hope Diamond in there. Don't, walk around with it in your purse or your pocket, especially. Seats, limited trim. You're getting this wonderful leather style material. Love the beautiful perforated. The stitch work is great. Manual though for the passenger, which is going to be a Zonk. I do have electric on my side of things. And then you have that same denim style material up top. It's a little bit lighter, standard size sunroof. Close it back up. But why don't you come over to the business end? I want to show you behind this all new steering wheel in our Elantra. All right, guys, business time. One thing I want to point out is on the driver's side door, it's actually a different color, believe it or not. They bring the beige tan material into the door panel. The passenger door, I promise you, rewatch the video, is actually all the darker material. So kind of interesting that Hyundai does that. They've done that on the Veloster top trim. The ultimate trim has that same setup. Kind of unique, I guess, and interesting. You do have your power seat controls that are easy to get to. All new steering wheel, and you know what? I love this steering wheel way more than the Sonata. One of the reasons is what's going on here. The way it connects from one side to the other, very classy. The horn button looks great. Some silver, some gloss black, and it is tilting and telescoping. Now, one of the weird things is even on the limited trim, you still have this do nothing area. So I'm guessing that on the end, maybe this does something, but it would have been kind of cool if they could have put some other kind of graphic than this little design here. I don't know what that represents. Is that like, I don't know. Is that like the Death Star? Is that the new Death Star that they've been building for the next Star Wars movie? I have no idea. But what I do know is check that out. You have over 10 inches of visual pleasure, smack dab in your face. Look at the graphics, really nice and clean. Of course, our door is open. That's what it's trying to tell us right now. But you could toggle, look at the tech. Look at that, looking good. And then in the center there, you actually can go through a ton of information. You got your lane keep assist, all the safety features, and then watch this. Drive mode, we're in normal, sport, red, fire. Your pants are on fire, so that's why you want to be in sport, because you want to race somebody. And then now smart. My IQ just went up 20 points just by hitting that button. So nice to have those different features, and I love the graphics. This is what's going to separate the Elantra from all the other compact cars in the segment. Plenty of headroom. I'm 6 feet tall. I got plenty of headroom in here. But let's go ahead. Let's get to the back seat and see what big things are in store for this compact car. All right, guys, back seat time. There's a lot of fun that you could have in the back seat, because you know what? You got more space. And even though this is a compact car, I got plenty of headroom. Lori and I sat back here. Not going to tell you what was going on, but we were sitting back here just to check out the room. How much room is in the back seat of the new Elantra? Plenty of space. And you know what? It's always a ton of fun filming with my wonderful wife, Lori. But one of the Zonks is, guess what? Limited trim. No pocket. And then knock, knock. Besides some PDI film that we have that needs to be removed, there's no power source whatsoever. So that's another Zonk. I do have a nice little cargo net here, but you know how I feel about the cargo nets. If your kids have sharp objects, maybe a knife, Chinese star, even a spoon, you might rip right through this. So just something to be aware of, but it does have the plastic so you can clean it very easily when they're eating their, you know, powdered donuts and, you know, Twinkies, of course. You get the cream back here and you can clean it up. Armrest? Yes. Got to give it a little pull. Look at that. Nice height. We got to break it in a little bit. It's a little hard, but you do have 2 cup holders, which is great. Flip it back. Here's what I was telling you about the space. I feel good back here. But why don't we go ahead, let's check out the trunk, because I'm ready to take this all-new Elantra for a spin. All right, guys, time to get into the trunk. Like I showed you, you just hit this button real easily. You lift it up, not very heavy. I like how wide the opening is. The cargo floor is very low in there. Of course, there is a spare on this Elantra Limited, which is also a nice reassuring thing to have. You do have your little levers back here that you're gonna pull. That's gonna allow the seats to do a 60-40 split, so you just pull on those. Seats go down, you could go to Costco, get your big bottle of mayonnaise, get your big bottle of ketchup, and one of those 32-foot long hot dogs, and just kind of round it around and drop it in there. But if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go do a little hot dogging and take this Elantra for a spin. All right, guys, we left Fitzgerald Hyundai. We're in this 2021 Hyundai Elantra Limited trim. Right away, I love the steering wheel. They did such a better job with the steering wheel than in the Sonata. Also, really digging the visibility. The A-pillars are very far apart, gives you lots of real estate to see clearly out of. You have that all-new 10.25-inch infotainment system screen. The only challenge is no wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto when you go to the bigger one. If you go with the 8-inch on that SEL, you do get wireless. It's the same thing as with the Kia product. So I definitely don't understand their reasoning behind that, but what I do love is this digital screen. Super clear. I'm gonna go ahead, put it into sport mode. We're gonna hit our drive mode selector knob there. I love the way everything changes, and it just elevates the overall feel and experience in this car. Now, seats are soft, but also supportive. You got plenty of room back there for your backseat passengers. You got wireless charging up front. I just don't like the way there's no USB or 12 volts back there, especially on a limited trim. But I do like the size of the sunroof, which is great. And then overall, everywhere else you're touching, the material's nice, except for the top of the door panels. Top of the door panels, you do have an issue with the harder plastic. At least I have an issue with the harder plastic. And if you notice, they made like a little, with this tan beige color, they made like a little driver focused area. Still wondering what the Death Star is all about over there. It's kind of staring at me and I'm like, stop looking at me. But definitely good feel from the steering. And you know what? Until we get the N version, performance is not going to be something that we're going to talk about right now. 0 to 60 in about 8.8 seconds is nothing really to write home about. But MPG numbers, wow. Talk about what they're able to do out of an internal combustion engine. Really allows you that flexibility when driving. And of course, while we're driving, unfortunately, I think there was an accident. We got to move over for the police. Not coming after us on Rady's Rides, which is good news. All right, guys, we're in sport mode. Let me go ahead. I'm going to slow down here. Nobody's behind us. We're going to do a little bit of an acceleration test. On throttle. So the good news is it gets the power to the ground. The bad news is there's just not a ton of power. But that's not what the purpose of the limited trim is about. I do like the overall feel of the steering. Not too light, not too heavy. So I think many people are really going to enjoy overall the driving experience that you get from behind the wheel of the new Elantra. And you know what? With the car being wider and being longer, you're actually getting a smoother ride down the road, which is great. But driving through this neighborhood, visibility is excellent. And I'm telling you, these seats are great. Absolutely fantastic. All right, guys. On throttle. So chassis feels balanced, and I'm very happy to report that I think when we go with the N version, when they bring out the Elantra N, I think the chassis work has been done to really provide a great driving experience. Overall, feels smooth. Sound deadening, they definitely have increased the sound deadening material, the quality of the glass in here. That's all gonna play a big role in creating a quieter driving environment, which is important, especially on those longer trips. All right, guys, driving down the road, like I was saying, super smooth. The good news is you're getting simulated shifts out of that CVT, so you're not getting the constant drone that some other brands of vehicles have with their CVT transmissions, which is really good news. And then, like I said, if you want to get better fuel economy, you put it in a smart mode. It's going to adjust how the throttle sensitivity is steering, the transmission, the whole 9 yards, plus it changes the instrumentation as well. And then we could go right back into normal. And you could literally, like if you keep steady throttle, you could literally feel the difference between the different modes, which is really great. But we're gonna go ahead, hopefully this has been a nice overall review of the Hyundai Limited trim. We're gonna get back to Fitzgerald and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. All right guys, been another great day here at Fitzgerald Hyundai. I definitely gotta thank Rob, Dave, the whole crew, getting us their first limited trim. This is what we like to do on Rady's Rise. We like to bring you all the different trims. We started out with an SEL, now we're going limited. I can't wait for the others, especially the Elantra. And it's really showing that Hyundai admitted to their mistake with the previous generation, especially with that refresh. 2018 is really my favorite Elantra. Give me Elantra Sport 2018. That really is the way to go styling and when it comes to the driving experience. But you know what? Big things in store for this compact car, especially on the interior. Overall style, great MPGs. I think you definitely need to add it to your list if you're looking for a new compact car to park in your garage. But if you want to keep seeing these reviews of compact car vehicles, especially from Hyundai, leave a comment in the comment section. If you're new and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rise family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you in the channel, click the link in the description. Get yourself some Rady's Rise merch. Got to give it up to the queen of the camera, busting her butt out here. This is the 10th car that she has filmed today, so she's working really hard. Show her some love in the comment section. Thank you, Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.